All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We're already live. Good morning, everybody, and happy Wednesday.
You-
Today is hump day, the middle of the week. Yes, very
Yes.
important day for many people who love the middle of the week. So, good morning, Susan.
Good morning, Sherry. How are you?
Yeah, great. I'm great. Thank you.
When I said good morning, Sherry, I was about to say good morning, Joy. I forgot what your name was for a
Oh,
second.
Joy. Funny. Susan still has me as Joy in her phone. I love that. Whenever I call, she sees, oh, Joy Nash is calling. So speaking of joy, I am kicking off my joy course next week. If anybody's watching, they've seen some of my marketing, get in touch with me if you have questions. But anyway, it's all about joy these days. So something came up about this show. A friend of mine, we were talking, and so it was like, what is the point of what we're doing? And so I want to hit home exactly. We'll start off with why are we even doing this, right? And why we're doing this is we decided when you and I we were talking, well, we talk often on the weekends or whatever, and there's such positivity that we share back and forth, and we were like, why don't we share that out to more people? Why not help people start their day off on a positive note, on something that will set their day, set their week in positivity instead of listening to the radio, the news, the same. I am so sick of the news right now with the COVID counts. I swear to God, I'm going to throw that radio out the window. I'm done. We're concentrating so much on the doom and gloom of it instead of focusing on all the success stories of it. So that's why we're doing this. I think that's a really important why. And what I put just now on our description is we're always trying to make everybody else happy, and we've forgotten ourselves in that whole message. Where do we count? Where do we fit in? Right, Sue?
Yeah, and it's really interesting because we were just saying, Sherry, that this wonderful group, Love in Our 50s, is your group, right? This is the heart and soul is you within this group, and I'm just like the coleslaw. I really am, and I'm okay with that because that's what I want, right? The reason why I'm sitting here with you is because my why is very different from your why, right? Because I work with the younger demographic that are struggling with information overload. And so my community, they always want to wake up with me because I sort of get them to think differently rather than processing information. It's like, hold on, it's not about rah, 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 let's be positive, because that's not how we are all day long, which is
Exactly.
why your joy course is so important because um, as I got older, and everybody I know, every single client I've worked with, every friend I've ever had, as we get older, the joy is more work to hold on to. So,
Yes.
like when you interview
Yes.
my nephews or children that are that
Oh
young,
my God, they're filled with joy. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And as years move on, hey, don't bullshit me. Okay, I could see that you're saying that you have a lot of joy, but you don't. So let's not pretend anything,
Yeah.
because that's what kills our fulfillment in life, right? So and as adults, we feel guilty to say what is the truth when sometimes the truth hurts. Like, yeah, I'm not always happy, right? Yeah, I'm
Yes.
feeling
Yes.
really depressed right now. Yes, I'm having a bit of an anxiety attack,
Yeah.
like, and it's almost like, God forbid we have to say the truth. So,
Yeah.
but, the more we ignore the truth, the more. So when I work with these younger people, um, they appreciate the truthful dialogue, right?
Yes.
It's not about me trying to ram in programming like you need to be positive. Oh, forget about how bad you feel. Focus on how good you're going to feel. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then
Get real.
yeah, it is get real. So the younger demographic really appreciate the absolute hardcore constructive truth.
They do.
And I literally teach these young women, I don't give a shit what somebody thinks half the time. You know why?
Mm.
Because they're not even thinking. So there's a balance between not giving a shit versus giving a shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Right? And
absolutely
the
right.
only time you can't give a shit is when you give a shit more about how you feel more than anybody else
Yeah.
first,
Well
right?
said. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't. you can't be self-absorbed and self-centered to say, and there's an arrogance and then there's an absolute certainty and confidence. And that's why women in their 30s that are hitting 40, that is going through that emotional middle-aged change of, oh
Hmm.
my goodness, where am I at? What am I doing? Oh, I've wasted so much time. And then they're kicking themselves for wasting so much time. And then it's the biological clock ticking that affects these young women.
That's for sure. That's a huge issue. Huge issue. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah.
a shame that it has to be that way too, you know, and it's such pressure on the women. Because men, they can have babies into their 70s, you know. It's like, but women, it's like, okay, there's a finite amount of time and there's a best before date, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, with media, because I'm a big disruptor in media and
Yes, you are.
broadcast.
It's great.
And because every information out there there's a personal agenda always,
Mm,
right? There's all like uh, anything that you read out there, anything you hear out there, you need to have your own thoughts.
mm,
You need to doubt everything.
mhm,
Like when a client doubts me, I'm loving it.
mhm.
And when they do something against what I'm saying, I love it. It doesn't matter. Sometimes, most of the time, it's wrong, but at least they did it,
At
and
least
I'm
they did it. Yeah.
celebrating. I'm celebrating that they went against me, and it's like, okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everything out there is forcing us to say yes to somebody else.
That's so true. Yeah, it's like, come my way, take my road, take my path. It gets so confusing, and there's just so much noise, which is what we were talking about on Monday as well, all that outside chatter. And then we lose our clarity that way. So how do we get clarity? We've got to stop the chatter, stop listening to everybody.
Yeah, you
And
can listen, but have your own mind,
yeah,
have your own opinions, and it doesn't have to be right, right? So,
and we're afraid to
why
have our own opinions. A lot of
Oh,
it,
yeah.
right?
You and I are very different. We're completely different. We have our own way of thinking. We have our own opinions on things, and that's okay, right? But um, I wouldn't want somebody to follow what I'm doing. That's why I'm saying in this group, it's very different when we hit 50 because we're no longer, challenged with that biological clock thing
That's
like that
right.
is. But let me tell you one thing though. Change doesn't happen until there's pain.
That is very true. Yeah, you got to go through the pain, and it is very painful. There's been times the pain has made me throw up.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Right? That's how painful that was.
That was 15 pounds ago.
Yeah.
But
Hitting certain walls, having to go through the pain because the only way out of it is through it. You cannot avoid it, and a lot of people do avoid it. We spend a whole lifetime trying to go around the issues, around the problems, around what's not working. But no, if you want to make change, I mean, the definition of insanity says Einstein, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. Well, you're not going to get a different result if you're doing the same bloody thing day in, day out. So you've
yeah.
got to change it up.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I don't go out there listening to people talk except sometimes as background noise, I will just have it running and then I'll hear a conversation in the background and then something would pop up that is, oh, hold on, let me rewind that. But other than that, I don't, but doesn't mean that other people don't need
Right,
it, right?
right.
And I'll give you an example. It's really interesting example. Yesterday I was talking, my nephew's FaceTime me and dude, Mr. Feeler, he go and last time I gave him a kissing shower, like literally from down to his toe, and he's like, Auntie Sue, when you come back, are you gonna give us another, like, you're gonna kiss us again? I'm like, oh, even more. And then I probably say I love you like a million times in a 5-minute conversation. And then
Oh,
his dad said to Jude, Auntie Sue always says she loves you, and she loves you, and you need to say it back to her, right? And then he goes, I do, but he just doesn't say it as much. I said, listen, Jude, I said, only say you love me if you mean it.
right on. Don't make
Only
it, yeah, key. So it's such a good, important message for the youngins because these empty, yeah, I love you too. It's so empty.
I
Why
don't
are you
want
saying I love you too? Like, no, put some sincerity into it, really feel it, or don't say it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you
yeah,
know?
that's good. Good advice from Annie Sue.
Yeah, I told him and I said, "Listen, Auntie Sue doesn't want to hear just empty words.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear,
yeah, yeah,
like, just words. I want meaning, and if you don't love me, it's okay."
yeah, and that's okay too. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it starts from a very young age, and
it
the
sure
reason
does.
why most of us is like that because our parents told us, "You have to hug that person. You have to shake hands with that person." And maybe yes, maybe no, but and so
Yeah,
yeah, so it was really an interesting conversation with a 7-year-old. But no, don't say this I love you to Asu Sue if you don't
that's
mean it,
right.
right?
That's
But I
right.
know you mean it, but I was just sort of programming him with other people that are, forcing because as a boy growing up, he's gonna one day have relationships,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, this is all ripple effect in
It
the way
sure
that
is.
we operate.
It sure is. Yeah. Yeah. And our consciousness really starts to awaken or to grow when we hit around 6. So everything that happens before 6 or 7 years old, it all becomes our programs in our subconscious mind. And we don't even notice or realize as adults that we're operating on these programs that are just running in the background. So our show, what we're doing here is we're trying to awaken everybody to say, okay, stop running with the programs. Take a look at what's working in your life and what's not working in your life. And if it's not working, then start looking for those clues. Why isn't it working? Start pulling it apart. Is it a program that was downloaded, into you when you were like 6 years old? So an example of that would be, you go to your aunt and uncle. So, but Auntie Sue says to you, instead of like, I love you and full of kisses, she says, oh, you're the clumsy one, right? Like that was such a thing, especially for us women in our 50s who had, our parents were born in the 30s. So our grandparents were born in the 10s or whatever. That was a common thing. Like people didn't put a lot of attention on trying to raise children with good self-esteem. That was not on the table. Children were seen and not heard. You were told to shut up. You were told to eat your plate, eat your food, don't waste it. Like so, there's a what did that create? So you've got all these programs, and so here you are, maybe in your 50s, and you're still afraid to maybe dance because the program said you're clumsy, and if you try and dance, you're going to fall. You're not seeing that in the front of your brain. You're not even maybe aware of it. You're not aware. I shouldn't say maybe, you just flat out aren't aware of it, but that's the program. So the idea right now for everybody trying to like in your 50s to awaken into like full joy and happiness is you have to start looking at, well, what's not working for you? And then start picking out those clues and pushing through those walls, going to the pain. If you're afraid to dance, why? Just freaking do it. Spend some time alone, blast some tunes, dance your heart out, sing your heart out, paint your heart out, write your heart out, like whatever it is that's holding you back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what I get my other groups to do whenever I do these type of things is every day in the morning, the one thing I always do is set my intention for the day,
That's
right?
beautiful.
I have my intention for the day so that when I go to sleep, I could feel a lot more fulfilled.
Yeah.
And I'm never fully fulfilled because my damn list is so damn long, but at least, you know, this is the thing about human nature is that we reward ourselves for things done,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I want to be able to say, yeah, today I had a great day because I
Right.
set out to get whatever done, or I set out to have a great conversation, and whatever your intention is, right? But make sure it's very clear, right? So if you had things that you were procrastinating,
Uh-huh.
choose one thing you procrastinated on and just do it for that day, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's it. I mean, and this is why these chats are so important. It's getting you centered and grounded in the morning, right?
Right.
Because
Kicking
the
off your
rest
day.
of your day follows with whatever you choose to do in the morning.
Yeah. So
Oh,
true. So true. And I struggle sometimes with my morning routine because there's so much I want to do in the morning because that's where I have my most energy. So I want to do some creative stuff. But I also want to go out and walk for an hour. I want to sit and write. I want to, it's like, so it's like, which do I start first?
You know what? Sometimes when that's the case, then just put a few pieces of paper, write it down, and toss it up and choose one, right? And
Yeah, that's a great little, yeah,
right,
great
leave it up
strategy.
to the universe, right? Because I
Yeah,
mean, to be honest with you, when for me, I can walk any time of the day, right? So that is an easy one to just delay.
yeah, to put till
The
later.
writing, the writing for me, I can't write. It cannot be a fixed time, right?
Yeah, it's gotta be
So
when it hits you.
yeah, so you need to be able to flow with your own routine.
Exactly, it's define the routine, right? So I've played with a few different things, different ideas, and that's key too, I guess, is just to keep playing with it and massaging it and changing it up what works so that you do get to the things you wanna get to. But
Yeah.
definitely setting your attention, and sometimes do you set lofty attentions, meaning like non, tangible? So, like, just like today, I will just feel good all day. Do you do those types of things, or you're doing like specific sort of to-do tasks on your intentions?
If I ever do an intention like I just want to feel better today, which I don't remember the last time I did that,
Yeah,
but
I'm
but
sure.
uh because the type of person I am, I feel better every time I accomplish even the smallest thing,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So that's how I keep myself happy, right? But that's not for everybody, right?
Right.
Sometimes somebody, whatever it is we are procrastinating is the one thing you need to focus on getting off the procrastination list,
Right.
right? That's
Feeding the
where,
frog, right?
yeah, because you know what? Because that's what makes us struggle the most.
It
It's
does.
carrying that burden of what is not done and what we're
Oh,
avoiding.
God. Yeah, and that takes up so much mental energy. Like, we get so drained because it's constantly on our minds and we're constantly thinking about it. It's the should, should, should. I should be sitting down to write that play or whatever the hell it is, right? I should, should, should. So instead of shoulding yourself, just freaking do it and get it over with. And you feel so much better. It's so true.
Yeah. And it's okay if you procrastinate. We all do, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
But to me, the when I'm really hard on myself from procrastinating is when I have nothing done, right? At
Yeah.
least if I'm procrastinating, it's like, okay, I procrastinated my tax sheet, my spreadsheet, so I think I'm going to create the web page that I need to create, right?
Right.
So
Right.
at
So we're
least
doing that.
yes,
Yeah.
at least I was productive. But
Yeah.
we are hard on ourselves when we are creating empty productivity. Like,
Mm,
"Oh, I chose to take a walk today instead."
mm.
Okay, but you could take the walk and, like, so what is that
Yeah,
about,
and you could have
right?
still done something.
Yeah,
So those are like
take something off the procrastination list because you have several things on the procrastination list, right?
that's a key. I like that idea, actually. I just got that. Create, because I always have a to-do list. I got a to-do pad even here. I constantly, and I've got 10,000, even this says to do, like they're everywhere, right? And I have a pad that's called to do. But I really love the idea about putting stuff on the procrastination list to create a
Yes.
different list.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that I have been avoiding for the last 3 months or what, 2 years or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people maybe listening, especially when we hit our 50s. It's like, oh, I wish I knew how to play the piano. I always meant to take piano lessons, or I always meant to take painting lessons, or, so, okay, so you didn't do it in your 30s, you didn't do it in your 40s, but you sure as hell can do it now. So put that on your procrastination list and then start getting to it, start looking into it, find out, and right now there's like so much stuff available online. It's ridiculous. So, and priced, like the price points are amazing. People are giving away their stuff practically. So there's tons and tons and tons of resources out there, more than ever before. So, even if you're just at home with minimal, and then you've got Amazon, so you can order all your supplies to the door, there are no excuses. Get moving, people, get moving. You know?
No, there's no excuse. I think I don't like doing things for the sake of doing because there are a lot of people out there that I work with that are just doing it's so mindless. They don't even know why they're doing. So I stop
Mm,
what I'm doing. So, but at least the things that burden us the most are the things that we're avoiding that need to be done. And then on top of that, not even doing anything that is alleviating that pain. So I'll give you an example. I don't think about doing. All I do in my day is prioritize, right? Because I have
Mm,
so many things. So I prioritize. I've become the queen of prioritization.
mm,
But by doing that, though, you're still productive and you have a better understanding of why you're actually leaving things
yeah,
aside. So if
right.
you don't go through that mindfulness,
Yeah,
everything seems like a pain.
yeah, yeah. Or everything seems to be important, and then you're overwhelmed because you think everything's number one. But when in reality, no, not everything is number one.
Yeah.
So get out of the swirl. I love that. Connect to the why every time when you have a to-do list. Why are you doing it or why are you not doing it?
Yep.
So important. And if you're always lining up with your why, then you're in integrity. And then it's joyful to do it because then you feel this great sense of accomplishment because it's lining up to accomplish what you want for yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Because
love that.
Cynthia, she just said, good morning,
Good
Cynthia. And
morning, Cynthia.
she just said, do what is meaningful to you. And that's the interesting thing. And a lot of people don't even realize what is meaningful to me.
Yeah,
Because it's
yeah.
like what you just named, Sherry, you just named a few things in the morning that um, the reason why you're stumbling with all those juggling of all those things that you want to do is because they all seem meaningful to you, right?
Right, right,
So
exactly.
th- we have to pass that point of meaningfulness if we want to go deeper in the thought process.
Yeah.
So what does meaningful mean to you? Like what is it? What is it, right?
Mm.
Is it productivity? Is it, so you really have to identify. And you know what, when you said it, your energy, the only thing that popped right up to the ceiling when you said those words, because I read energy and I know what is your priority based on how you say a word, right? You
Yeah,
know which one was at the top of the list for you as terms of priority and meaningfulness is the walk.
is the walk. Yeah.
Yeah. And the one, your energy, the one that was least was the journal.
Oh, interesting.
You know why? You know why? Because right now, because the journal became a habit, which served you at one point,
It
and it
did.
might serve you now, but it's not the priority of service to you.
Ah,
You get jazzed up when you're taking care of your physical self now,
mhm.
right? And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
once you get that done, it brings in the fuel to do the other stuff. So
Exactly.
the
Yes.
art of
Yeah,
prioritization,
yeah.
you need to go through that. And then you're like, okay, well, the walk is it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you're right. So for somebody who can't read their own energy, so back to the example of me, like, I didn't even realize that my energy went up on the walk and down on the journaling. So for people to, to really to look within, so they've got to connect into everything that they're doing. And so why do I walk? Okay, so I'll go through that exercise. Why do I walk? Right, because it really does jazz me up. And when I get back, I feel so freaking alive. And then I'm ready to actually take on. But if I sit and journal first thing in the morning, my energy comes down, right? Because then it's a sleepy. And if it's a dark day, I could actually go back to bed after that little exercise.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
because you fell into the thing of like Kevin waking up to CJAD every morning, and then he would get worked up. I'm like, "Ugh, like, why are you using that? Like, why are you
Yeah.
doing that? Why is that your habit still?" And he
Right
would give
on.
all these excuses like, well, this is, but the moment he killed that habit that no
Yeah.
longer served him today than it did 10 years ago, he even said, my gosh, my day is so much better because you
Mm,
carry what you do in the morning, right? So, um, journaling for you was your therapy.
it was for
You
many
don't
years. That's
need
right.
that therapy anymore.
Yeah.
You're
That's right.
in inspiration motivation mode,
Yeah.
right? So when we have to go with our how we are evolving as you get improving yourself as a human being for yourself, you need to let go of the stuff that you used to hang on to before.
Right. It no longer serves. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always doing that check-in with ourselves, right? What's working, what's not working. Connect with your why. Your
Yeah.
why do I do it? Why am I doing anything? We actually had a quick call to chat about, that expression, how you do anything is how you do everything. And that I, I muddled over that for years because it's like, really? Is that really true? Because I'm looking at the external of the external whatever I'm doing. And I'm like, no, I'm different. I show up different depending on, but you had a great analogy. So maybe we'll finish this conversation. We're already 8:25. I can't believe it. Um, Maybe we'll finish off with how you explained that particular, you gave a great analogy about software,
Oh,
operating
well,
system.
yeah. Well, you see, there's a disclaimer to personal growth, right? Be careful of the growth that you're going to put yourself through, because
Mm,
with growth comes a lot of change,
right. Oh my gosh, yes.
right? So same thing as a computer. Every time it upgrades to
Yeah.
Windows 7 to Windows 8 to Windows 10, you're going to find new glitches that has to be hammered out. But at the same time, there are certain apps that will no longer be applicable to
Mm,
the new operating system,
right.
right?
Right.
So the apps in human terms is your habits that you were using before to survive in the old operating system,
Okay,
right?
I'm taking notes. Yes, apps were the
Yeah.
old habits.
Yeah. The old apps that no longer serve Windows 10 when it served Windows 7. So the journaling served Windows 7. But because now you're a Windows 10, the walking and the physical movement, because you're out there, you're about to kick ass into your body, right?
Okay.
And so if you sit there and use an old app, it's not going to work,
That's right. That's right. I love this analogy. It's so brilliant.
right?
Yeah, it's really good.
And
That's
so if
right.
you try to bring in, because then we're like, well, I spent $10 on that app, right? I
Yeah.
have to make sure that I carry, like, God forbid, I let go of something I spent money on, or I spent 10 years on that app, and
Yeah.
now I have to change. But it's the same thing as when your operating system goes up in your growth, there are people that are going to disappear in your life,
That is true. Oh my
right?
gosh. Yes, yes. Yeah,
And if
look
you
out,
try to hang
folks.
on to them, then why do you even try to go to grow? Then don't,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's nuts how our mind works. I I'm not I change friends and people around me like I change my underwear, like, we're
Well, it depends on, yeah, what you're working on, where you're at, what serves you, what serves them.
yeah,
Because if you're not showing up the way you should, or in authenticity, then it no longer serves anybody. It's like done. Yeah, on to the next.
yeah, don't buy a new computer, don't upgrade. Oh, it's funny, I'll give you a quick example before we go. The other day, Kevin, he was on his computer, he trades, right? And one of the, trading applications on his computer requires Java, right?
Okay.
So what he did was he upgraded Java because it prompted him to upgrade it. And then all of a sudden it messed up his software because it was no longer compatible with that old Java,
Right. Oh my
right? The
God.
new
Yeah.
Java.
That's so
So he's like,
frustrating.
yeah. So he's like, oh my God. And he's flipping out. I'm like,
Yeah.
don't worry about it. We'll go back and find the old Java, right? It's
Mm,
like, and then I said to him, I said, don't click yes to the upgrades because it
mm.
comes with a liability, right?
Yeah. 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 Oh, this is good.
Right?
Don't click to the upgrade unless you're ready. Yeah. To level up.
Yes,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
now we spent the whole damn day, because thank God I'm a techie person, but we had to go back and find the old Java, uninstall it, and God, it took a whole day to figure out the old Java.
Oh,
And we went back to the old Java without the upgrade. But we're okay with the old Java,
yeah.
knowing that we don't want to change the software.
Right. Right. It
In the
works.
end
It
of the day,
works for what you need it. Yeah.
it's all a choice.
It is all
It's
a choice.
all a choice. If you want to become a better person for yourself, you need to be surrounded by the people that respects the new you.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So
So,
otherwise, don't upgrade, folks. But I think everybody, it's in your best interest to
yeah.
want to upgrade because there's just so much more joy and so much more fulfillment each time we kind of level up. I love that, leveling up. It's like the Mario Brothers game, level up.
Nobody, I'm not everybody out there is going to say, oh my God, I follow Susan. And no, half the people out there can't even look at me, but at least they respect me. That's all I care about, right? At least they respect where I stand and my truth. I don't hurt anybody, but I don't care whether you love me or like me or whatever. As long as you respect me and my truth, that's all I care about.
Yeah. And you're
Right?
beautiful at truth. You are so authentic.
That's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's not. We're not here to try to make everybody happy. We're just here to teach everybody to live with self-respect
Yeah.
and dignity.
Beautiful. Beautiful way to finish off, Sue. Thank you.
You're
So for
welcome.
everybody, go and enjoy your day. Look at what you're doing, why you're doing it, how are you connecting in, and why are you not doing it? Two really important questions to ask yourself. Put some stuff on your procrastination list and get to some of it, at least some of it this week. Every day, every
Check off
morning.
one. It doesn't have to be big. It's the
Yeah.
small
And
thing.
often it is small stuff. It could be just cleaning out that junk drawer or, like just get to it. Yeah.
Well,
Get to
actually, my intention for today is I have a friend in Belgium and she's very sick, and I just haven't had a chance to contact her. So today I'm just gonna send a message, and I'm gonna feel so happy for doing it.
yeah.
But it's anything. It could be the smallest thing. It doesn't matter. But that's been weighing on me for days, right?
Ah, right. So
Yeah.
yeah, so just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
Exactly.
important.
Yep.
So setting an intention. Well, I'm gonna go set mine. So have a great day, everybody, and see you back next Monday. And have a great rest of your week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.